Emergence comes despite a constitution imposed by the United States after World War II that limited the country's forces to defensive purposes only. In fact, analysts say that defensive restriction has helped make Japan's military stronger than it might have been without it. Japan's alliance with the US that makes it such a formidable power in 2016. The United States and Japan are the two closest military powers in the world today. They're even closer than the US and UK. They train together on a daily basis, and there are major military exercises in air, land and sea on almost a weekly basis. The presence of US technology like the ship-based Aegis anti-missile system, which can shoot down ballistic missiles, in Japan's fleet makes it a force hard to counter. The anti-war, US-imposed constitution Japan found itself under after World War II may have helped Japan put together a military that might be even stronger than the one that attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, some analysts say, because Tokyo has only had to focus on defensive capabilities and not spend money on offensive ones. Japan's submarine force is a prime example of how this has worked. The corporate culture of modern Japan also contributes to a stronger force. So it will be no surprise to see a weapons system like the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, which was developed in the US and will eventually be made in quantity in Japan, be more successful in Japan than the US because Japan can take the best work of other countries and refine it to be even better. That can't be good news for possible adversaries such as Russia and China. Besides strong naval and air weaponry, Japan is making moves to improve its position in other areas. Foremost among those is amphibious operations, a form of warfare Japan invented with its storming ashore to conquer Pacific islands in the months after the Pearl Harbor attack. In fact, Japan in November completed a large exercise with US forces in the northern Mariana Islands practicing just that. Amphibious landings figure into what Japan sees as its biggest security issues, its competing claims with China over islands in the East China Sea, known as the Senkakus in Japan and the Diaoyus in China. Even if it remains defense-focused, Japan's military still can operate far from the country's coastlines. Japan's navy has the ability to move troops and hardware around the world, as evidenced by its role in UN peacekeeping. That is a role that could get more fraught for Tokyo, as the country's legislature last month gave Japanese troops in